Have you ever wondered what separates those who build extraordinary wealth from those who struggle paycheck to paycheck? It's not just luck, inheritance, or being in the right place at the right time, although those factors can certainly help. The real difference lies in a series of closely guarded secrets that millionaires understand but rarely share openly. And these aren't the typical tips you'll find in basic financial advice columns or the surface-level wisdom shared at networking events. These are the deep, fundamental truths that wealthy individuals have discovered through years of experience, felt success, and relentless pursuit of financial freedom. Hey. Well, today I'm pulling back the curtain to reveal 5 powerful secrets that millionaires use to build and multiply their wealth. Secrets that can transform your financial future if you're willing to embrace them fully and take consistent action. The journey to wealth isn't a straight path, and it's rarely easy, but understanding these secrets gives you a massive advantage. Hey, think about it like this. Imagine you're trying to navigate through a dense forest to reach a magnificent castle on the other side. Most people stumble through the underbrush, getting scratched by thorns, going in circles, and eventually giving up. But what if someone gave you a detailed map, showed you the hidden trails, and warned you about the dangerous areas? Suddenly, your journey becomes exponentially easier. That's exactly what these 5 secrets represent. They're your map through the wilderness of financial uncertainty to the castle of wealth and abundance. These principles have been tested by countless successful individuals across different industries, time periods, and economic conditions. And they continue to work because they're based on timeless truths about money, value creation, and human psychology. Before we dive into these secrets, I want you to understand something crucial. Reading about these principles won't change your life. Knowing them intellectually won't deposit money into your bank account. The transformation happens when you internalize these truths, shift your mindset, and most importantly, take massive action. Millionaires don't just think differently, they act differently, consistently, over long periods of time. They develop habits that compound, make decisions that align with their long-term vision, and refuse to be swayed by the instant gratification that derails most people. So as you read through each secret, I challenge you to not just nod along and say that makes sense. Instead, ask yourself honestly, am I doing this? If not, what needs to change starting today? That level of brutal self-honesty separates those who dream about wealth from those who actually build it. The first secret that millionaires understand but rarely discuss openly is this. They don't work for money, they make money work for them. Let that sink in for a moment because it's a paradigm shift that changes everything. Most people trade their time for money in what's called linear income. They go to work, put in 8 hours, and receive a paycheck. If they want more money, they need to work more hours or get a better job. This creates a ceiling on their earning potential because there are only so many hours in a day and only so much energy they can expend. Now, millionaires, on the other hand, figured out early on that this model has severe limitations. They discovered that true wealth comes from creating systems, assets, and income streams that generate money even when they're sleeping, vacationing, or focusing on other projects. This is the fundamental difference between being busy and being wealthy. Think about the typical employee mindset for a moment. Someone with this mindset wakes up, gets ready for work, commutes to an office or job site, performs tasks for 8 or more hours, commutes home, and repeats this cycle 5 or 6 days a week. Their income is directly tied to their presence and effort. If they stop working, the income stops immediately. There's no leverage, no multiplication of effort, and no escape from the time for money trap. Now contrast this with how millionaires think about income. They ask themselves questions like, how can I create something once that pays me repeatedly? How can I build a system that runs without my constant involvement? How can I use other people's time, skills, and resources to multiply my result? Oh, these questions lead to completely different actions and outcomes. The practical application of this secret involves understanding the concept of assets versus liabilities. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket, while a liability takes money out. Millionaires relentlessly focus on acquiring and building assets. No! These might include rental properties that generate monthly cash flow, dividend-paying stocks that send quarterly checks, businesses that have competent managers running them, intellectual property like books or courses that sell repeatedly, or licensing agreements that pay royalties. Each of these assets represents money working for you rather than you working for money. Hey. The beauty of this approach is that it compounds over time. Your first asset generates income, which you reinvest to buy or build more assets, which generate more income, creating a snowball effect that accelerates wealth building. Let me share a real-world example that illustrates this principle perfectly. Consider two individuals, both 30 years old and earning $60,000 annually. Person follows the conventional path, working their job, spending most of their income on lifestyle expenses, maybe contributing a little to their retirement account, and hoping for annual raises. Person B takes a different approach. They live well below their means, save aggressively, and invest every spare dollar into income-producing assets. Initially, person B might purchase a small rental property that generates $300 in monthly profit after all expenses. That's an additional $3,600 per year. Instead of spending this money on luxuries, person B saves it along with their other savings, and within a couple of years purchases a second rental property. Now they have two properties generating income. They continue this process while also investing in dividend stocks and perhaps starting a side business. Fast forward 20 years, and the difference is staggering. Person might have a modest retirement account and still needs to work to pay their bills. Person B has multiple rental properties generating substantial monthly income, a robust investment portfolio, paying significant dividends, and perhaps a business that runs semi-autonomously. They've achieved financial independence not because they earned more at their job, but because they made their money work for them through assets. The mindset shift required here cannot be overstated. You must start seeing yourself not as an employee who trades time for money, but as an investor and business owner who builds systems that generate wealth. This doesn't mean you need to quit your job tomorrow. That would be foolish for most people. Instead, use your job as a wealth-building tool. Your employment income becomes seed capital that you systematically convert into income-producing assets. Every dollar you earn is a soldier in your wealth-building army, and you must deploy these soldiers strategically to capture territory in the form of assets that generate passive income. This requires discipline because society constantly encourages you to spend on depreciating items, fancy cars, expensive clothes, the latest technology, dining out frequently, and impressive vacations. Millionaires resist these temptations, especially in the early wealth-building years. They understand delayed gratification, sacrificing short-term pleasures for long-term financial freedom. Another crucial aspect of making money work for you involves understanding the power of compound returns over extended periods. Albert Einstein allegedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, and for good reason. When your assets generate returns, and those returns are reinvested to generate even more returns, the growth becomes exponential rather than linear. This is why millionaires think in decades, not days or months. They plant financial seeds today, knowing that with proper care and patience, those seeds will grow into mighty trees, producing abundant fruit. The challenge for most people is that compound growth feels slow at first. You invest $1,000 and earn $50 in the first year, which doesn't seem life-changing. But that same patient, consistent investing over 20 or 30 years transforms modest contributions into substantial wealth. Millionaires embrace this long-term perspective, while average people seek quick wins and get-rich-quick schemes that rarely deliver lasting results. The second secret millionaires guard carefully is that they view money as a tool for creating value, not as the end goal itself. This might sound counterintuitive because aren't we talking about building wealth? But here's the profound truth that changes everything. Millionaires don't chase money directly, they chase value creation, and money follows as a natural consequence. Wow. The more value you create for others, the more money flows to you. This principle applies whether you're building a business, advancing in your career, investing in real estate, or pursuing any other wealth-building strategy. The marketplace rewards value creation, and those who become obsessed with providing massive value inevitably accumulate wealth. This represents a complete reversal of how most people think about making money. Consider the typical employee who thinks, what's the minimum I need to do to keep my job and get my paycheck? They watch the clock, do exactly what's required, avoid extra responsibilities, and count down to the weekend. This is a scarcity mindset focused on extracting value rather than creating it. Now think about the person who approaches their job asking, how can I provide so much value that I become indispensable? What problems can I solve? What improvements can I implement? How can I make my boss's life easier? This is an abundance mindset focused on value creation. Which person do you think gets promoted, receives raises, and opens doors to bigger opportunities? The answer is obvious, yet most people operate from the first mindset and wonder why they're stuck financially. This principle becomes even more powerful when you extend it beyond employment into entrepreneurship and business ownership. Every successful business exists because it solves a problem or fulfills a need for customers. The better it solves that problem and the more people it serves, the more profitable it becomes. Millionaire entrepreneurs don't start by asking, how can I make $1 million? They start by asking, what problem can I solve? What need can I fulfill? How can I make people's lives better, easier, more enjoyable, or more successful? When you find a genuine answer to these questions and execute well, money flows naturally. Think about companies like Apple, which created beautifully designed, user-friendly technology that enhanced people's lives. Or Amazon, which made shopping incredibly convenient and affordable. These companies created immense value for millions of people, and in return, they generated enormous wealth for their founders and shareholders. The practical application of this secret requires shifting your focus from what can I get to what can I give. In every interaction, transaction, and opportunity, ask yourself how you can over-deliver and exceed expectations. If you're an employee, look for ways to solve problems before your boss knows they exist. Take initiative on projects that move the company forward. Develop skills that make you more valuable. Share ideas that improve efficiency or increase revenue. If you're a business owner, obsess over your customer's experience. How can you make your product better? How can you improve your service? Well, what additional value can you provide that your competitors don't? If you're a freelancer or consultant, don't just complete the assigned task. Identify and address underlying issues your client might not have even articulated. This value creation mindset creates a reputation that attracts opportunities, referrals, and premium pricing. Hey, let me illustrate this with a powerful story about a young man named Marcus who worked at a mid-sized marketing agency. Marcus started as a junior account coordinator making a modest salary, and like many young professionals, he wanted to earn more money. He had two choices. He could complain about his low pay, do the minimum required, and job hop every year or two seeking marginal raises. Or he could focus on creating massive value. Marcus chose the latter. He started arriving and staying late, not to impress anyone, but to learn everything he could about the business. He volunteered for projects outside his job description. When he noticed that client reports were taking the senior team hours to compile manually, he learned basic programming and created an automated system that reduced the work to minutes. When a major client was unhappy with campaign results, Marcus spent his weekend researching new strategies and presented a comprehensive plan that turned the account around. Within 3 years, Marcus went from junior coordinator to director. His salary increased by over 300%, and he eventually started his own agency, taking several of his former employer's clients with him because they valued the exceptional service he provided. Marcus didn't get wealthy by chasing money. He got wealthy by creating so much value that money chased it. No. This principle also applies to investing, though it's less obvious at first glance. When you invest in a stock, you're betting that the company will create increasing value for its customers, which translates to growing profits and rising share prices. When you buy rental property, you're providing housing value to tenants, and they pay you for that value. When you invest in your own education and skills, you're increasing the value you can provide to the marketplace, which increases your earning potential. Everything comes back to value creation. Millionaires intuitively understand this and orient all their activities around it. They're not stingy or cheap, but they're very intentional about where they allocate resources because they're constantly evaluating opportunities through the lens of value creation and return on investment. The mindset shift here involves moving from a transactional mentality to a value creation mentality. Instead of trying to extract maximum benefit from minimum effort, you focus on providing maximum value and trust that appropriate compensation will follow. This doesn't mean working for free or allowing people to take advantage of you. It means operating from abundance rather than scarcity, building relationships rather than just making transactions, and playing the long game rather than seeking short-term gain. When you consistently over-deliver and exceed expectations, your reputation becomes your most valuable asset, opening doors and creating opportunities that money literally cannot buy. The third secret that separates millionaires from everyone else is their relationship with risk and failure. While most people are terrified of failure and do everything possible to avoid risk, millionaires understand that calculated risk-taking and the willingness to fail are essential ingredients in the wealth-building recipe. This doesn't mean being reckless or gambling with money you can't afford to lose. It means recognizing that all meaningful progress involves stepping into uncertainty, that failure is feedback rather than finality, and that the biggest risk in life is taking no risks at all. Every millionaire you've ever heard of has failed multiple times, often spectacularly. Ah, oh, the difference is they didn't let failure defeat them. They used it as a stepping stone to eventual success. Think about how society conditions us to fear failure from an early age. In school, getting an F is the worst possible outcome, something to be ashamed of and avoided at all costs. We learn to color inside the lines, follow the rules, and seek approval from authority figures. Oh. Golly. This creates adults who are terrified of making mistakes, who play it safe, and who never venture beyond their comfort zone. While this approach might keep you out of trouble, it also keeps you from achieving anything extraordinary. Millionaires break free from this conditioning. They recognize that the path to wealth runs directly through the territory of risk and failure. Hey! Golly! Wow! Every successful business launch involves risk. Every investment carries uncertainty. Every bold career move means leaving security behind. Millionaires make peace with these realities and act anyway, not because they're fearless, but because they value freedom and opportunity more than they value comfort and certainty. Hey! The practical application of this secret involves developing what I call intelligent risk-taking skills. This isn't about being reckless or impulsive. It's about thoroughly researching opportunities, understanding potential downsides, preparing contingency plans, and then taking action despite residual uncertainty. Many people spend their entire lives in analysis paralysis, endlessly researching, planning, and preparing, but never actually doing anything because they're waiting for guaranteed success. Newsflash, guaranteed success doesn't exist. Millionaires understand this and act with incomplete information, learning and adjusting as they go. Oh no. They embrace the concept of failing forward, extracting lessons from every setback and applying those lessons to increase their odds of future success. Consider the story of Sarah, who worked in corporate finance for 15 years, earned a comfortable salary, and had excellent job security. Sarah dreamed of starting her own financial planning business, but was terrified of leaving the safety of her corporate job. What if she couldn't find clients? What if she failed and couldn't get another job? What if people thought she was foolish? These fears kept her stuck for years. Then she had a realization. The only way to build the life she truly wanted was to take the risk. Wow. She started preparing systematically. She saved 18 months of living expenses to give herself a runway. She began building a client base on nights and weekends while still employed. She created a detailed business plan and sought advice from successful financial planners. Finally, she made the leap. The first year was terrifying and challenging. There were moments she questioned her decision. Wow. But she persisted, learned from early mistakes, refined her approach, and gradually built a thriving practice. Within 5 years, Sarah was earning 3 times her corporate salary, had complete control over her schedule, and had built a business worth well over $1 million. None of this would have happened if she'd let fear keep her in the safe corporate job forever. Well. The fear of failure prevents more wealth creation than actual failure ever could. Think about that statement carefully. How many people never start that business because they're afraid it might fail? How many never invest in real estate because they're worried about bad tenants or market downturns? How many never ask for that promotion or raise because they fear rejection? Wow! How many never pursue their creative passions because they're scared of criticism? The opportunity cost of playing it safe is enormous, yet it's invisible, which is why most people never calculate it. Millionaires see this cost clearly. They understand that the safe path The one that avoids all risk leads to a mediocre life of financial dependence and unfulfilled potential. No, they'd rather try and fail than never try at all, because at least failure teaches valuable lessons and opens new doors. Another critical aspect of this secret involves reframing how you think about failure itself. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of success. Every failure contains valuable information about what doesn't work, bringing you closer to discovering what does work. Oh. Thomas Edison famously said he didn't fail thousands of times while inventing the light bulb. He successfully found thousands of ways that didn't work. This mindset shift transforms failure from something to be ashamed of into something to be studied and learned from. Millionaires cultivate this perspective. When a business venture doesn't work out, they don't see themselves as failures. They see it as one experiment that didn't produce the desired result. They extract the lessons, pivot, and try again with better information. The wealth-building implication of embracing intelligent risk and learning from failure is profound. It means you take more shots, create more opportunities, and learn faster than people who play it safe. While the cautious person takes one carefully calculated action per year, you might take 10 or 20, learning from each one and accelerating your progress. Yes, you'll experience more failures, but you'll also experience more successes, and the education you gain from both is invaluable. Well, over time this creates a massive advantage. You develop skills, resilience, judgment, and confidence that simply cannot be gained any other way. You also build a portfolio of experiences and relationships that open increasingly valuable doors. All of this stems from your willingness to step into uncertainty, take calculated risks, and view failure as feedback rather than a final verdict on your worth or potential. The fourth secret millionaires understand but rarely articulate is the immense power of delayed gratification and the compounding effect of small, consistent actions over time. We live in an instant gratification society where people want results immediately. They want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, get rich quick with the latest investment scheme, or build $1 million business overnight. This desire for instant results causes people to overlook the most powerful wealth-building force in the universe: the compound effect of consistent, disciplined actions sustained over long periods. Millionaires embrace delayed gratification as a lifestyle, making small sacrifices daily that accumulate into extraordinary results over years and decades. They understand that the boring, unsexy, consistent habits are what actually build wealth, not the flashy, exciting, get-rich-quick schemes that capture most people's attention. Think about the story of two friends, Jessica and Amanda, who graduated college together and started their careers at age 22. Jessica loved nice things. She bought a new car with a hefty monthly payment, rented an expensive apartment in the trendy part of town, dined at nice restaurants regularly, and took expensive vacations twice a year. She was living her best life, or so it seemed. She made good money but spent everything she earned, carrying some credit card debt and having virtually no saving. No. Amanda, on the other hand, made very different choices. She bought a reliable used car with cash, found a modest but comfortable apartment for half what Jessica paid, cooked most of her meals at home, and took affordable vacations. The money she didn't spend on lifestyle inflation went into a high-yield savings account and investment account. She maxed out her retirement contributions and invested in low-cost index funds. These differences didn't seem dramatic in any given month, but Amanda was saving and investing about $1,200 monthly, while Jessica saved nothing. Let's fast forward 20 years to when both women are 42 years old. Jessica still has a nice lifestyle, but she's completely dependent on her paycheck. She has maybe 20,000 in her retirement account and no other investments. She feels trapped in her job because she needs that income to maintain her lifestyle. If she lost her job, she'd be in serious financial trouble within a couple of months. Oh. Amanda, meanwhile, has accumulated substantial wealth through her consistent saving and investing. Her investment accounts have grown to over $600,000, generating significant passive income. She has options and freedom that Jessica doesn't. She could take a career risk, start a business, take a sabbatical, or even retire early if she chose to. No. The difference in their financial positions is dramatic, yet it all came down to small daily decisions repeated consistently over 2 decades. Amanda practiced delayed gratification, saying no to immediate pleasures in favor of long-term financial security and freedom. Jessica chose immediate enjoyment and ended up with long-term financial stress and limitation. Oh no. This principle applies to every aspect of wealth building. In business, delayed gratification means reinvesting profits back into the company rather than extracting every dollar for personal consumption. It means spending years building a brand and reputation rather than cutting corners for quick cash. No. It means developing systems and processes that will pay off long term rather than just hustling for the next sale. In investing, it means letting compound interest work its magic over decades rather than constantly buying and selling, trying to time the market or chase the latest hot stock. No. It means dollar cost averaging into solid investments month after month, year after year, regardless of market conditions, trusting that time in the market beats timing the market. In career development, it means investing in education and skill development that might not pay off immediately, but dramatically increases your value over time. The challenge with delayed gratification is that our brains are wired for immediate reward. Psychologists call this present bias, our tendency to prioritize immediate benefits over future rewards, even when the future rewards are objectively much larger. Millionaires overcome this psychological tendency through discipline, clear vision, and environmental design. They maintain crystal clear pictures of what they're building toward, the freedom, security, and options that wealth provides. This compelling vision helps them resist temptations that would derail their progress. They also design their environments to make delayed gratification easier. They automate savings and investments so money flows into wealth-building activities before they have a chance to spend it. They surround themselves with people who share similar values and goals, rather than spending time with excessive consumers who pressure them to keep up appearances. They create accountability systems to keep themselves on track when motivation wanes. The compound effect is a natural partner of delayed gratification. Small actions, positive or negative, compound over time into massive results. Saving and investing $50 per week doesn't seem like much, but over 30 years, with compound returns, it can grow into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Reading 30 minutes per day about business, investing, and personal development doesn't seem significant, but over 10 years, that's over 1,800 hours of education. Making one new meaningful professional connection per month doesn't sound impressive, but over a decade, that's a powerful network of 120 valuable relationships. Working on your business idea for 2 hours every evening might feel like slow progress, but over 2 years, that's over 1,400 hours of focused effort that could launch a successful enterprise. Millionaires leverage this compound effect systematically, making small positive choices daily and trusting the process. The flip side is equally important. Small negative actions also compound into devastating results. Spending just $20 extra per day on unnecessary purchases equals over $7,000 per year that isn't going toward wealth building. Hey, watching 3 hours of television every night represents over 1,100 hours per year that could be invested in learning, building, or creating. Carrying $2,000 in credit card debt at 18% interest costs you $360 annually in interest alone, money that's working against you rather than for you. Hey, I know that. Making impulsive investment decisions based on fear or greed erodes wealth over time through poor timing and excess fees. Millionaires are hyper-aware of these negative compounds and ruthlessly eliminate them from their lives. They audit their habits, expenses, and time usage regularly, identifying and correcting behaviors that work against their wealth-building goals. The practical application of this secret requires developing what I call patient urgency. This might sound like a contradiction, but it's actually a powerful mindset that combines long-term patience with short-term intensity. You're patient about the timeline for achieving major wealth. Understanding it takes years or decades to build substantial assets through consistent effort. No, you don't expect to get rich overnight, and you don't get discouraged if you're not a millionaire after 2 years of effort. Simultaneously, you're urgent about taking action today, this week, this month. You don't procrastinate or make excuses. You're intensely focused on making the right decisions and taking the right actions consistently because you understand that today's choices determine tomorrow's result. This combination of patience about outcomes and urgency about actions is a hallmark of millionaire thinking. The fifth and final secret that millionaires understand deeply is that wealth is created through leverage, using resources beyond your own time and money to multiply results exponentially. Most people only think about using their own effort and their own money to build wealth, which severely limits their potential. Millionaires, on the other hand, are masters at using various forms of leverage to amplify their results. They leverage other people's time through hiring employees and building teams. They leverage other people's money through smart use of debt and attracting investors. They leverage other people's knowledge through mentorship and learning from experts. They leverage technology and systems to automate and scale their activities. They leverage their reputations and networks to open doors and create opportunities. Understanding and applying leverage is perhaps the most powerful wealth-building secret because it breaks the direct connection between your personal effort and your results, allowing you to achieve exponentially more than you ever could alone. Let's start with the leverage of other people's time, which is fundamental to building real wealth. There are only 24 hours in your day, and you need to sleep, eat, and maintain relationships, leaving maybe 10 to 12 hours for productive work. If you're doing everything yourself, you're capped at what one person can accomplish in that limited time. Millionaires break through this limitation by building teams. They hire people whose time they can direct toward productive activities that generate value and wealth. A business owner with 10 employees isn't just adding 10 times the working hours. They're multiplying their impact because those 10 people are simultaneously working on different aspects of growing the business. The owner's role shifts from doing all the work themselves to leading, strategizing, and ensuring the team is focused on high-value activities. This leverage allows the business to serve more customers, enter new markets, develop new products, and generate far more revenue than any individual could alone. Many people resist this form of leverage because they think they can't afford to hire help or because they believe no one can do the work as well as they can. These are limiting beliefs that keep people stuck doing everything themselves. Yes, hiring employees requires upfront investment and carries some risk. Yes, training people takes time and effort. Yes, employees make mistakes. But the leverage gained far outweighs these costs if done properly. Millionaires are willing to invest in building teams because they understand that scaling wealth requires moving beyond what they can personally accomplish. They also recognize that many people can do certain tasks as well or better than they can, especially once properly trained. The key is hiring for roles that free you to focus on the highest value activities that only you can do. The strategic decisions, relationship building, and creative problem solving that drives the business forward. The leverage of other people's money is another powerful tool that millionaires use strategically. This might seem counterintuitive because we're often told to avoid debt at all costs. And it's true that consumer debt used to buy depreciating assets or fund lifestyle expenses is financially destructive. But productive debt used to acquire income-producing assets is completely different and can dramatically accelerate wealth building. Consider real estate investing as a clear example. If you save up $50,000 and buy a rental property in cash, you own one property producing rental income. But if you use that same $50,000 as a 20% down payment, you could potentially purchase up to $250,000 worth of property, buying 5 rental properties instead of one. You're now earning rental income from 5 properties instead of one, and you'd benefit from appreciation on 5 properties instead of one. Yes, you have mortgage payments, but your tenants are covering those through rent. This is leverage, using other people's money, in this case, the bank's money, to multiply your wealth building potential. This principle extends beyond real estate. Business owners use other people's money when they attract investors to fund growth initiatives. Instead of slowly growing the business only as cash flow allows, they can inject capital to expand more quickly, hire key personnel, invest in marketing, or develop new products. If done wisely, the returns generated from that invested capital far exceed the cost, creating wealth for both the business owner and the investors. Even in the stock market, there's a form of leverage when you invest in companies. You're essentially using the company's resources and efforts to generate returns on your invested capital. You couldn't possibly create and manage a global logistics operation like FedEx or develop pharmaceuticals like Pfizer. But by owning stock in these companies, you leverage their massive operations to generate wealth for yourself through dividends and appreciation. The critical word here is strategic. Millionaires use debt and other people's money strategically to acquire assets and fund growth, never to fund consumption or speculative gambles. They carefully calculate the numbers to ensure the investment will generate returns that exceed the cost of capital. They maintain margins of safety so that if things don't go exactly as planned, they won't face financial ruin. They also maintain good debt-to-equity ratios, never over-leveraging to the point where one setback could topple everything. This intelligent use of financial leverage is vastly different from the average person's relationship with debt, which typically involves credit cards, car loans, and mortgages on houses they can barely afford, all of which drain wealth rather than build it. Millionaires also leverage knowledge, standing on the shoulders of giants rather than trying to figure everything out from scratch. They read voraciously, study successful people in their field, hire coaches and mentors, attend conferences and seminars, and invest heavily in education. This allows them to compress decades of learning into years by absorbing the hard-won wisdom of others who've already traveled the path they're on. While the average person might spend $500 on entertainment monthly without thinking twice, millionaires happily invest thousands in education because they understand the return on investment is enormous. And a single insight from a mentor could save years of mistakes or open a door to an opportunity worth millions. A book costing $20 might contain strategies that generate hundreds of thousands in additional revenue. A course teaching a valuable skill might be the key to transitioning from employment to entrepreneurship. Well, technology and systems provide another form of leverage that's increasingly powerful in the modern world. Software can automate tasks that once required hours of human labor. A well-designed website can sell products 24 hours a day without human intervention. Email marketing systems can nurture thousands of potential customers simultaneously. Social media platforms allow you to build an audience and distribute your message to millions at virtually no cost. Millionaire entrepreneurs embrace these tools enthusiastically, constantly seeking ways to automate, systematize, and scale their operations. Wow. They invest in developing standard operating procedures for every aspect of their business so that results become consistent and predictable rather than dependent on individual heroics. They build businesses that can run effectively, even without their constant presence, because systems and technology handle routine operations. The leverage of reputation and network is perhaps the most subtle but incredibly valuable form of leverage millionaires cultivate. When you build a strong reputation for excellence, integrity, and delivering results, opportunities come to you rather than you constantly hunting for them. People want to do business with you. They refer others to you. They give you the benefit of the doubt. This reputation leverage opens doors that remain closed to others. Similarly, a strong network multiplies your capabilities. When you need expertise in an area you're unfamiliar with, you know someone who can help. When you're looking for an opportunity, someone in your network might have the perfect lead. When you need capital, you have relationships with potential investors. When you're hiring, your network can recommend talented people. This network leverage means you're never truly alone in your wealth-building journey. You have access to the collective knowledge, resources, and opportunities of everyone you're connected to. Building this network leverage requires being a giver, not just a taker. Millionaires understand the principle of reciprocity. They're constantly thinking about how they can help others in their network, making introductions, sharing valuable information, providing assistance without expecting immediate return. This generosity builds goodwill and strong relationships. When you consistently add value to others, they naturally want to help you when they can. Wow. Over time, this creates a powerful web of mutually beneficial relationships that becomes one of your most valuable assets. It's not about manipulative networking or collecting business cards. It's about genuinely caring about others and building real relationships based on mutual respect and value creation. The wealth-building power of a strong network cannot be overstated because opportunities, deals, insights, and support flow relationship. The practical application of leverage requires shifting from a do-it-yourself mentality to a coordinate and multiply mentality. Instead of asking, how can I do this? Start asking, how can this get done? What resources, people, money, knowledge, technology, or relationships could help achieve this goal more effectively? This question opens up possibilities that simply don't exist when you're limited to your own personal resources. It requires developing new skills like leadership, team building, financial analysis, systems thinking, and relationship management. And these skills might not feel as tangible as doing the actual work, but they're far more valuable in terms of wealth creation because they multiply your effectiveness. Many people resist leverage because it feels risky or because they don't want to depend on others. But consider the alternative. A. If you refuse to use leverage, you're limited to linear growth based solely on your personal time and money. This virtually guarantees you'll never achieve significant wealth because there are hard limits on both. By embracing leverage intelligently and strategically, you remove those limits. Your wealth potential becomes a function of how well you can coordinate resources rather than how many hours you can personally work. This is why business owners and investors who use leverage extensively can become wealthy much faster than even the highest paid employees who trade time for money with minimal leverage. Now, having explored these 5 powerful secrets, I want to address the elephant in the room. You might be thinking this all sounds great in theory, but how do I actually implement these principles in my life? This is the crucial question, because knowledge without action is worthless. Well, millionaires are not just people who know things. They're people who consistently do things, who take their knowledge and translate it into concrete actions, repeated over time until results compound into substantial wealth. Let me give you a practical framework for implementing these secrets starting today, regardless of your current financial situation, age, or circumstances. First, conduct a brutally honest assessment of your current financial reality. Write down your income, expenses, debts, assets, and net worth. Most people avoid this step because seeing the numbers in black and white can be uncomfortable or even painful. But you cannot improve what you don't measure, and you can't build a plan without knowing your starting point. Now, once you have this clear picture, analyze where your money is currently going. How much are you spending on depreciating assets and consumption versus how much you're investing in appreciating assets? How much active income do you have versus passive income? What's your savings rate? Be honest without judgment. This isn't about feeling bad about past decisions. It's about gathering data to make better decisions moving forward. Next, design your wealth-building vision with specificity. Where do you want to be financially in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Don't just say, I want to be rich. Define what financial success means to you in concrete terms. Do you want passive income of $10,000 per month? Do you want a net worth of $2 million? Do you want to own 5 rental properties? Do you want a business generating specific revenue? Write this vision down in detail and critically attach an emotional connection to it. Why does this matter to you? What will this wealth enable you to do, experience, or contribute? Maybe it's the freedom to never worry about money, the ability to provide for your family, the chance to work on passion projects, or the opportunity to make a difference through philanthropy. This emotional connection is what will sustain your motivation when the journey gets difficult. And it will get difficult. Wow. With your current reality and your vision clearly defined, create specific action steps for implementing each of the 5 secrets. For the first secret about making money work for you, commit to a specific savings and investment rate. Maybe you start by saving and investing 10% of your income. Automate this process so the money transfers to your investment accounts before you have a chance to spend it. Research investment options that align with your goals and risk tolerance, whether that's index funds, real estate, starting a business, or a combination of approaches. The key is to start, even if it's with small amounts, because the habit and momentum are more important initially than the dollar amounts. For the second secret about creating value, identify specific ways you can increase the value you provide in your current situation. Oh. If you're employed, what 3 things could you do in the next 90 days that would make you significantly more valuable to your employer? Maybe it's learning a new skill, taking on a challenging project, solving a persistent problem, or improving a process. If you're in business, survey your customers and identify their biggest pain points. And what could you do to address those pain points better than anyone else? If you're just starting out, research market needs and identify problems you're uniquely positioned to solve. Commit to becoming obsessed with value creation rather than value extraction. For the third secret about embracing intelligent risk and learning from failure, identify one calculated risk you've been avoiding due to fear. Maybe it's starting that side business, asking for a significant raise, making your first real estate investment, or leaving a secure job for a better opportunity. Create a plan that mitigates the downside while allowing you to move forward. What's your backup plan if things don't work out? What can you do to increase your odds of success? What's the actual worst-case scenario versus the catastrophe your fear is imagining? Often you'll find that the worst case is uncomfortable but survivable, while the potential upside is life-changing. Then, commit to taking action within a specific time frame. Put it on your calendar. Tell someone who will hold you accountable. Take the leap. For the fourth secret about delayed gratification and consistent action, audit your current habits and expenses to identify areas where you're sacrificing long-term wealth for short-term pleasure. This isn't about living like a monk or never enjoying life. It's about being intentional rather than impulsive. No! Maybe you realize you're spending $300 monthly on restaurant meals when you could cook at home more often and redirect that money toward investment. Maybe you're paying for subscriptions you rarely use. Maybe you're buying new clothes constantly when your closet is already full. Identify these leaks and redirect that money toward wealth-building activities. Simultaneously, commit to small, consistent actions that compound over time. Maybe it's reading for 30 minutes daily about financial topics, working on your side business for 2 hours every evening, or making one new professional connection per week. For the fifth secret about leverage, identify areas where you're doing everything yourself when you could be multiplying your effort. If you have a business or side hustle, what tasks could you delegate or automate? Maybe it's time to hire a virtual assistant for 20 hours per month to handle administrative work, freeing you to focus on revenue-generating activities. Maybe you need to invest in software that automates parts of your process. If you're building wealth through real estate, are you using financial leverage appropriately? Or are you trying to buy everything in cash and limiting your growth? If you're looking to start a business, who could you partner with who has complementary skills? What knowledge do you need that you could gain from a mentor or course rather than spending years figuring it out through trial and error? The implementation of these secrets requires one more crucial element: accountability and course correction. Building wealth is not a set-it-and-forget-it process. You need to regularly review your progress, celebrate wins, identify obstacles, and adjust your approach. I recommend conducting a comprehensive financial review quarterly. Look at your net worth progression, your income growth, your expense trends, and your progress towards specific goals. What's working well? What isn't working? What needs to change? Where are you getting in your own way? This regular reflection ensures you stay on track and continuously improve your wealth-building strategy. You should also seek out community and support. Surrounding yourself with people who share your wealth-building goals and values is incredibly powerful. They provide encouragement when you're discouraged, accountability when you're tempted to quit, and insights from their own experiences. Now, this might mean joining a local real estate investment group, participating in online entrepreneurship communities, finding a mentor who's achieved what you're working toward, or simply cultivating friendships with people who have healthy money mindset. The people you spend time with significantly influence your beliefs, habits, and results. So choose your circles wisely. Now, let's also address some of the mental and emotional obstacles that derail people even when they know these secrets intellectually. Fear is the big one. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of loss, fear of success, even fear of change. These fears are normal and universal. Even millionaires experience fear. They've just learned to act despite it rather than letting it paralyze them. The antidote to fear is usually action and preparation. When you're afraid, break the big scary thing into smaller, manageable steps. Take one step, then the next, then the next. Fear diminishes with forward motion. Also, educate yourself thoroughly about whatever you're afraid of. Often fear is based on lack of knowledge or catastrophic thinking that isn't grounded in reality. Another common obstacle is the comparison trap. In the age of social media, it's easy to compare your beginning to someone else's middle or end, leading to discouragement. Remember that everyone's wealth-building journey is unique. Someone else being further along doesn't diminish your progress or potential. Focus on your own path, measure yourself against your own goals, and celebrate your personal milestones. The only comparison that matters is between where you are today and where you were yesterday, last month, or last year. Are you making progress? Are you taking consistent action? Are you learning and growing? If yes, you're on the right path, regardless of what anyone else is doing. Impatience is another wealth-building killer. We want results immediately. And when we don't see dramatic changes quickly, we get discouraged and quit or jump to the next shiny object. This is why understanding the compound effect is so important. Your wealth-building efforts are like pushing a boulder up a hill. The beginning is the hardest. You're pushing with all your might, and the boulder barely moves. It feels like your effort isn't producing results. But if you keep pushing consistently, the boulder gradually gains momentum. Eventually, you get it to the top of the hill, and then it starts rolling down the other side, accelerating on its own. This is the tipping point where compound growth takes over. Now, your investments start generating significant returns. Your business reaches critical mass, where growth becomes easier. Your reputation opens increasingly valuable doors. But you only reach this tipping point through sustained effort over months and years. Most people quit during the hard initial push, never experiencing the exponential growth phase. Self-doubt is another major obstacle. Now, you might think this might work for other people, but I'm not smart enough, connected enough, talented enough, or lucky enough to build real wealth. This is limiting belief talking, and it's completely false. While it's true that some people start with advantages like family wealth, good education, or helpful connections, thousands of millionaires started with nothing and built wealth through the principles we've discussed. Your background doesn't determine your destination. Your decisions and actions do. If you can read this article and understand these concepts, you have the intellectual capacity to build wealth. If you have access to the internet, you have access to virtually unlimited information and opportunity. What you need is belief in yourself and commitment to the process. And let me share one final story that encapsulates all 5 secrets and demonstrates how ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results. Meet Carlos, who immigrated to the United States at age 22 with $500 in his pocket and limited English skills. He started working in landscaping, earning minimum wage, and living in a shared apartment with 3 roommates. Now, most people in his situation would have focused solely on survival. But Carlos had learned about wealth-building principles and was determined to apply them despite his challenging circumstance. He started with the first secret, making money work for him. Even earning just $9 per hour, Carlos committed to saving 20% of his income. Well, that was only about $300 per month, but he invested it consistently in low-cost index funds. While his roommates spent their money on entertainment and nice things, Carlos lived frugally and built his investment account. After 2 years, he had saved about $7,000 plus investment gain. He applied the second secret, focusing on value creation. And Carlos noticed that many landscaping clients wanted additional services like pressure washing, gutter cleaning, and small repairs, but his employer didn't offer these. He approached his boss with a proposal to add these services, offering to manage this new division. His boss agreed, and Carlos threw himself into making it successful. He worked extra hours, ensured excellent quality, and generated significant additional revenue for the company. His value creation led to promotions and raises, nearly doubling his income over 3 years. Carlos embraced the third secret, taking calculated risks. After 5 years of working for someone else and learning the business inside and out, he took the leap and started his own landscaping company. He was terrified. What if he failed? What if he couldn't find clients? But he had prepared well, saved enough to survive 6 months without income, and had built relationships with potential customers who were willing to give him a chance. No! The first year was incredibly hard. There were setbacks and moments of doubt. But Carlos persisted, learned from mistakes, and gradually built a successful operation. He practiced the fourth secret, delayed gratification and consistent action. Even as his business grew and he started making good money, Carlos didn't inflate his lifestyle. He still lived modestly, drove a used truck, and avoided expensive indulgences. Instead, he reinvested profits back into the business, buying better equipment and hiring reliable employees. He also continued his disciplined investing, now able to save and invest much larger amounts. Every decision was evaluated through the lens of long-term wealth building rather than short-term gratification. Finally, Carlos mastered the fifth secret, leverage. He hired and trained employees, leveraging their time to serve more clients than he could alone. He used small business loans to purchase equipment, leveraging other people's money to grow faster. He invested in software systems to manage scheduling and billing efficiently, leveraging technology. Well, he built relationships with suppliers, real estate agents, and other business owners, leveraging his network to find opportunity. He studied successful business owners in his industry, leveraging their knowledge to avoid mistakes and implement best practices. 20 years after arriving with just $500, Carlos has built a landscaping company with 35 employees generating over $3 million in annual revenue. His personal net worth exceeds $4 million through his business value, real estate investments, and stock portfolio. He's achieved financial freedom, provides well for his family, and creates jobs for others. None of this came from luck, inheritance, or special advantages. It came from understanding and consistently applying the 5 secrets we've discussed in this article. Carlos's story isn't unique. Similar stories play out every day across the world. People from all backgrounds, in all circumstances, building wealth through these timeless principles. Now, the question isn't whether these secrets work. They clearly do. The question is whether you'll apply them in your own life. Will you make the decision today to stop making excuses and start taking action? Will you commit to the long-term process of wealth building, even though it requires sacrifice, patience, and persistent effort? No. Will you shift your mindset from employee to investor, from consumer to value creator, from fear to calculated risk-taking, from instant gratification to delayed gratification, from limited personal effort to leveraged multiplication? These aren't just academic questions. Hey. Your answers, demonstrated through your actual behaviors and decisions over the coming months and years, will determine your financial future. You can continue on the path you're currently on, which will lead to the same destination most people reach: financial stress, dependence on employment income, limited options, and constant worry about money. Well, or you can choose a different path. The 1 millionaires have traveled, implementing these 5 secrets consistently until wealth building becomes not just something you do, but who you are. I want to be clear about something important. Building wealth is not the purpose of life. Money is a tool, not a destination. The true value of wealth is the freedom, security, and options it provides. Freedom to spend your time on things that matter to you, rather than being enslaved to a paycheck. Security knowing that you and your loved ones are protected from financial catastrophe. Options to pursue opportunities, take career risks, support causes you believe in, and live life on your own terms. These are the real prizes that wealth enables. Oh no. The millionaires who are truly fulfilled are those who build wealth in service of these deeper values, not those who accumulate money for its own sake. That said, in our modern world, money matters tremendously. Financial stress destroys relationships, health, and happiness. Lack of money limits your choices and forces you into situations you wouldn't choose freely. Insufficient wealth means depending on others for your security and livelihood. So while money isn't everything, it's important enough that you owe it to yourself and your loved ones to get this part of life handled. You owe it to yourself to understand how wealth is really built and to implement these principles consistently. As we close this comprehensive exploration of the 5 secrets millionaires never tell you, I want to leave you with a challenge and a promise. The challenge is this. Don't let this be just another article you read, nod along with, and then forget. Make a commitment right now to implement at least one concrete action from each of these 5 secrets within the next week. Write them down. Put them on your calendar. Tell someone who will hold you accountable. And then actually do them. Small actions create momentum. Momentum creates more actions, and consistent actions over time create transformation. The promise is this: if you genuinely embrace these 5 secrets and implement them consistently, your financial life will transform. It might not happen overnight. No. You probably won't be a millionaire next month or even next year. But over time, through the compound effect of making money work for you, creating massive value, embracing intelligent risk, practicing delayed gratification, and leveraging resources beyond your own, you will build substantial wealth. You'll look back 5 or 10 years from now and be amazed at how far you've come. And, well, you'll have options you don't have today. You'll have security you don't feel today. You'll have the freedom to design your life rather than accepting whatever circumstances dictate. The secrets are no longer secret for you. You now know what millionaires know. And the only difference between you and them is action, consistent, discipline, persistent action aligned with these principles over months and years. Every millionaire started exactly where you are now with knowledge and a decision. They decided that they would build wealth no matter what obstacles appeared, no matter how long it took, no matter what sacrifices were required. They committed to the journey, and they stayed committed even when it was hard. Now it's your turn to make that same decision. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. 10 years from now, you'll either be grateful that you started implementing these secrets today, or you'll regret that you kept putting it off. There will never be a perfect time to start. You'll never feel completely ready. There will always be reasons to wait. But wealth builders don't wait for perfect conditions. They create progress in imperfect conditions. They start where they are with what they have, and they figure out the rest along the way. So here's my final question for you. What will you do differently starting today? Not tomorrow, not next month, not when circumstances improve, but today. What one action can you take in the next 24 hours that moves you toward wealth? Maybe it's opening an investment account. Maybe it's calculating your current net worth. Maybe it's having an honest conversation with your spouse about your financial goals. No. Maybe it's listing the value you could create in your current role. Maybe it's researching that business idea you've been thinking about. Maybe it's reaching out to a potential mentor. Maybe it's simply deciding with complete conviction that you will build wealth and committing fully to that goal. Whatever it is, do it today. Then do something else tomorrow. And the next day. And the day after that. String together enough of these wealth-building days, and you'll have a wealth-building life. The secrets are yours now. The knowledge is yours. The only question remaining is whether you'll use them. I believe you will, because you've invested the time to read this entire article, which demonstrates you're serious about transformation. That seriousness, combined with these powerful secrets and consistent action, is an unstoppable combination. Your wealth-building journey begins now, and I'm excited for what you're about to accomplish. The life you dream about is waiting on the other side of the decisions and actions you're about to take. Oh no. Go build your wealth, not because you love money, but because you love the freedom, security, and options that wealth provides. You've got this. No.